Boy, this is a great morning. I woke up, went to the store. I bought some amazing deals. I ended up buying $80 worth of groceries, and I had to purchase a bag because my reusable bag, which is a pretty good size too, it could probably fit, like a man's size high tops and still have, like an inch and a half rectangular addition. But I had that thing. It's a Spectrum bag. There you go. It's a Spectrum bag um, that they give out when you buy their stuff. That was filled so much with meat that I had to buy another bag so I could put in my Taparama soups and my salads and my ice cream. And it was $80. I think I got like 30 to possibly, at the height, 45 pounds of meat. It's awesome. So that was a good start. Anyways, and then, you know, I'm about to make tea and I realize, holy shit. I mean, it's 62 degrees because I don't use heat. I have closed my windows once it start hitting 40 at night. I do close my windows, so all my windows are closed. But inside my house, it's 62 degrees, but I'm hot. So I was like, dang, I don't even need coffee or tea this morning. I just drinking water. This is. Mm. So then, when I get ready to start consuming my content, I lay down in my hammock and last night I went to sleep listening to Marshall McLuhan lectures. So when I turned my computer back on, which hooked up to my TV, it starts coming out Marshall McLuhan. And the part that he's saying, well, it's this. So the reason I'm doing this take is because this is a badass motherfucking morning for me. I think that these two last posts I just did are some of wow. I mean, I've got some crazy shit going around, but timing is everything, and I don't know if I got my time synchronicity right or what, if it's a magic day or some shit, but check this shit out, okay? Let's start here. McLuhan predicting anti-gravity tech within members of his audience's lifetimes. Now, maybe that might be a stretch. Maybe I could even say they're kids. Because what I meant to be in my brain, what I'm viewing right there is a average lifespan, so 70 years. I'm thinking, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because I got to stretch it. Because obviously it didn't, if everybody in his audience was, oh, well, I guess they were 20. And this was 74. Oh, I guess no. Yeah, if they're 20, they could barely be hitting 70 right now, 50 years later. Damn, my bad. Yeah, shit. I didn't even have to explain that down. See, I suck at math. I don't have any problem. I'm very open about that. Okay, so McLuhan predicting anti-gravity tech within members of his audience's lifetimes. That Las Vegas Tesla fire was started by a 19-year Special Forces active duty on temporary leave, liberty, from actually Germany. He came here from Germany to do this. Wrote in his manifesto that his two main reasons for fabricating a terror attack on the stage he set for it, as essentially what everybody says about him, that his actual peers that have worked with him say, a master tactician. Okay? He's a master tactician, a master bomb maker. They said, one guy said word for word, he could have created a bomb that leveled that building. Okay? So he set the stage in every single way. Now, maybe that doesn't mean that just just because you can use your creativity doesn't mean your creativity can convey to some kind of coherent message. Now, you got his initially, obviously, there was no coherency to it. My initial take on it was that because there was a Tesla truck fire literally the same day, just a little bit before. So I was confused at first when it came out. So I was like, this poor guy, whoever the driver was that they said he was shot in the head. I questioned that because I mean, he shot himself in the head and then he set the bomb off. That's what they said. So that didn't register in my head, anyways. But even before they said they shot himself in the head, my first instinct was to say, they're based on what was in the back of the truck, because I could tell that what was in the back of the truck was not explosive. It was only flammable. So nobody in today's modern age, with access to the internet, any kind of research into bomb making would rely on flammable materials as a bomb. That's not, that to me, I don't see that as possible. You can't even, the stupidest person can't be that fucking stupid, because the stupidest person would rely on the internet, and the internet would fucking give them shit like thermite and that, I get videos. Damn, why I think I could fucking show you. Come and think of it. Damn, watch this shit. I got this yesterday. I was tripping out. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to click on it, but now I am. Thermite. This is crazy shit. I trip out on this. How to make thermite. Look, these are crazy, okay? Because I make this joke. Well, it's not really a joke, to be honest with you. Look at this.
It'll be a little bit less sciencey and more fun. Is a hot.
So
but anyway, this is like a little throwable thermite blob. We'll see how this goes. Dude, that was.
Look at this. And then this one right here too.
In this video, I'll be seeing if I can make thermite using aluminum. A grinder or something.
I've never seen any of these again because I'm scared. I've already got enough trouble. I mean, I talk a lot of shit. I don't even. I'm not a simp, people. Look. All right, so we get that that's possible. So I automatically knew, and then when I found out that he was special forces, then all of a sudden red flags are going off in my head. There's no fucking way that, and now his friends are pointing out that the gun that he got, that he bought, apparently, I don't know if it was on the way there, but he bought, I don't know if that's even possible. Well, I guess in some of those states it is. He bought a Desert Eagle, which amongst the ranks of the special forces is considered the most useless, dysfunctional, worthless, impractical joke of a gun. A pure Hollywood douchebag, wannabe tough guy. And these guys are killers. You understand the way they're looking at this from. They're like those. So it's funny because they like the big trucks that are loud and shit like that for certain reasons, and psychological reasons. And interestingly enough, that same reason that they like those type of vehicles and the sense of power and superiority that it feeds into, that they're compensating for a sense of inadequacy, inferiority, and vulnerability that they're covering up. On the flip side, these Desert Eagle guns, you think they look at it like only a guy, I already cussed, so they look at it like only a guy with the littlest dick will need a gun that big. They're compensated. That's the way that they see it. So that's what I find funny, okay? That's what I find funny. I don't have a big dick, so I'm not in this conversation, okay? But again, so where I just got, okay, so that's where I knew right there that there was something wrong. Now, but for the most part, I'm crazy. So I can register these type of things more rapid than you because it's not because I'm smart. This is what you guys continue to fail to fucking get. It's because I'm sensitive. And sensitive tends to infer something more like a bruise or an injury rather than a superpower. If that helps you guys. So I understand because of the system that you live in, you feel like I'm talking down to you because I'm telling you something you can't know unless you're told. But as much as I say you guys are broken, you guys got to understand, I'm looking up from dust at the shards and chunks and rubble that you are, if that helps. And I'm seeing who's doing the smashing because I'm obliterated. Okay? So and as they smash you down, because I'm obliterated, in one sense, if I'm the what do you call it, the film of dust that covers the floor from the less the material that had less integrity and gave way sooner. Again, you guys are getting the whole fucking thing wrong, and I'm just boom shattered. Okay, and I'm covering the floor, and you guys are the rocks and the boulders and the chunks maybe with rebar still in it and shit like that. On top of all of that, every time you guys get smashed, hit, crushed, no matter if it how much it reduces you, I feel it, whether I want to or not. Okay? All right, so my first thing was Elon Musk is a fucking psychopathic supervillain, and that this is a danger. And I now really think this because I mean my initial premise is still valid. It's just this is how crazy this is what it is to be crazy. What I made up in the first place is now validated, but in a way, 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 way worse. So I was only seeing the shadow of the monster to come. And I said that it was more likely that Elon Musk knows that this was a battery fire and that now he's got to go into damage control by smearing the guy in it in any way possible because that I still didn't even know that it was the second one because the other one was in Atlanta. So that's why I was confused. But I was just thinking timing wise with the MAGA turning on him, the Democrat. So first you understand, he first was a Democrat fold, then he started just got absorbed into the MAGA fold somehow, and now they're already turned on him, and they're literally Steve Bannon, which is more of a he's a new Rush Limbaugh, so he's more of a voice to the base of Trump than Trump is in one sense. Straight up called Elon Musk an enemy to Americans. So, just from a psychological standpoint, and the resources that have available to him, the ties that he has with the government, military tech, and all kinds of shit like that. Not to say that he himself, just like Bruce Wayne, is not the guy building the shit. So I was like, we just gave birth to the first supervillain. That was my first prediction. Elon Musk, from this point on, is now on a level of damage control in which the only way that he can save the integrity of the life that he perceives to be his, as well as his actual life, like looking at that healthcare United guy, is to implement a system of perpetual chaos that prevents, in a judo type way, that prevents his opponents, which from his standpoint he now sees as America. The right and the left of America have turned on this immigrant fucking psychopathic South African motherfucking racist deranged, apartheid, fucking profiteering minion of fucking hate and greed. So I also say the same thing about Trump. Trump in his book, The Art of the Deal, which has nothing to do with business, there's not one formula, there's not one hiring practice, there's not one interview question. Everything is about revenge, 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 revenge. So, actually, I saw a video yesterday of the lady that was, they thought that he was having an affair with her, something, Laura something or something like that, who, I think, I don't know what she is. She looks Armenian to me, but she might be Jewish. Bobert or something. But she does it yesterday for New Year's. She does a cheers with this guy Nick Fuentes, who's a white supremacist, white nationalist. So basically, the American version of what Elon Musk family is in South Africa, and they cheers their glasses together. And she says, "Here's to a hostile takeover of the Republican Party." So what Republicans don't get is that everything that they said about Trump for his entire life, he never forgot. He never forgets anything. That's not in his character. So when the Democrats rejected him and the Republicans rejected him, for his entire life, the next thing was, okay, well, he gets another level of motivation where I don't have to care about any of them. I can fuck them all over now. And so that's where Elon Musk is. So now you have a duo of this shit. But I would say that Musk is smarter than Trump. And now that doesn't mean he's more clever. There's a whole nother ballpark. Trump's level of cleverness, and I still hold that the Scaramucci is a prime example. You have to understand the art of the deal and what Trump did to Anthony Scaramucci to understand the level of sophistication that Trump operates on. This guy, during the first campaign, was calling Trump a trust fund baby and saying that he's a wannabe billionaire that tries to hang out with us because he's the guy, Scaramucci, was actually a billionaire at the time, running a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund. And he says, but he's not really one of us. He's never done anything. He doesn't know how to make any money. So Trump held that in his gut and his heart and his mind. So when he became president, he went to Scaramucci and said, hey, let's bury the hatchet. I want to hire you for the White House press secretary and make you the face of the nation. And he sold it to him. You got to understand, he sold it to him. He's like, but because of, what is that thing, that emolument clause or something, you can't keep your hedge fund. Trump knew what he was doing. So on top of that, Scaramucci's wife, because Trump is a sexual fucking serial predator, it doesn't matter what Christian women say that follow him and what they tell their daughters or what the politicians do. You have to never, ever, ever forget that. And thank God for women like motherfucking Scaramucci's wife, who's a fucking married him in the first place, if you look at him. So that goes to show you what kind of woman she is. She's not really a woman in any real sense, but she still has a human capacity that when her husband came home giddy like a little boy saying, I'm going to work with Trump. I'm going to work with Trump. She said, if you go with that fucking monster, that sexual deviant fucking pig, I will divorce you. He said, oh, well, babe, this is a chance. You're going to try to hold me back? This is a chance of my lifetime. Boys club. And he divorced his wife. Or she divorced him. He gave up his hedge fund. He enters the position. Trump puts him in an insolvable riddle. I don't know. The Sphinx. Trump basically puts him in the situation where he confronts the Sphinx, an unsolvable riddle. And within so it's an 11-day process. You got to understand, this is an 11-day process. Engage him. I guess it takes 2 days to get everything cleared up. Hired, 9 days in, fired, laughing stock of the entire fucking world. Lost his wife, lost his hedge fund, and lost his entire sense of credit. He's starting to try to come back now. But this is a very important thing to understand. I don't think they can necessarily partner. I guess they could partner up, but that's anything is possible. I don't want to put it past, I'm not an expert. I'm just guessing all this shit. Okay, now back to this. So this guy's on active duty. So I'm seeing it in this standpoint, and I'm like, one way or the other, I don't care how this fans out. Musk now, just because of the potential bad press, the stigma, he's now the supervillain. I declared him the supervillain on New Year's, and I said so. 2025 started off with the birth of the world's first supervillain. Okay, that was my declaration. Now we get to this. So he's on active duty from military leave. He's on military leave from active duty. Okay, so he wrote in his manifesto that his two main reasons for fabricating a terror attack, which now makes sense because I understand he didn't want to create a terror attack. He wanted to create a spectacle. On the stage he set for it, was twofold: Trump and Tesla. Now, that's the stage he set. So it's a fabricated terror attack, and he's putting Trump and Musk as the two main protagonists in the theater, in the act. I mean the act, like on the act one, scene one, in the scene. So, reason number one, to expose anti-gravity tech. Sounds crazy. So that's being dismissed by all of his friends that are sharing they're the ones bringing this information out. Other special forces guys are bringing this shit out. But what they're all doing is they're all pussyfooting around the anti-gravity. And they're showing a sense of camaraderie and solidarity with the war crime because that's more personal. And, I thought it was worse than it sounded at first. But then once I started getting more research, it's like, 30 women and children died or some shit like that. That's nothing. That's like fucking... Obama did that literally like every other day. So I can see why these guys that are special forces or used to be in it, they are sharing conversation. They're sharing life experiences in which high-ranking military officials contacted them because of potential information dissemination. So they're saying, they're downplaying the anti-gravity and like, okay, well, we're all a little crazy, everyone, nobody's perfect, kind of something along that lines. So, but I lived this right here. So when this happened, the Jade Helm 15 exercise in 2015, I believe it might have been, I forgot the dates. So they ran an exercise and it involved 7 states and it was called Jade Helm, and it was about this joint advancement. This is the only, I'm the only person that has this anymore because the DOD released this because people were getting fucking paranoid. And this was actually, I took this off of the DOD page. I mean, it was downloaded PDF. But then they took it back down. So that's just one of them. I don't know if I have more. I guess forces, Jade forces. Oh no, that's my note for it. Oh, these are minutes, actual minutes from their meetings. They tell you who's involved. So, okay, this is the gist of it. This military exercise was about turning on an artificial intelligence program that helped develop deployments into urban areas. So they used Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Utah, I don't know what else is around there. 7. I know it was 7. And they said that there were going to be military personnel in uniforms. The conspiracy theory that was going on around the time from the Republican right was that, because this was 2015, who was the president? Was it still Obama? I guess it was Obama, huh? So was that this was the FEMA thing? They were saying it's a FEMA roundup, and they were going to start pulling off Christians and all the end time shit, everything that they always say. Okay, and they were very adamant. They're getting ready to get their guns, and that's one of the reasons that the military ended up taking this down, because this information wasn't helping that type of people reconcile that there was no ongoing attack against them. It was literally just a military exercise. So they took the shit down, so it's no longer available. But I still got it. So within this, one of the components of this Jade Helm was, and I've read this stuff, is to identify members. So this is a invasion of a foreign, so Iran, okay? Basically, think about this. They're going to use this for Iran. Obama, they're talking about Iran. So Jade Helm is such a sophisticated, now this is 2014. Now look where the fuck we're at. Or 2015. We're 10 years later. I mean, look the shit that I can do with AI. Okay? So even then, the AI could do complete psychological analysis on members of the target invading location. From those psychological assessments, they could deem which individuals would be more likely to be privy to supporting the invasion forces. It would then suggest a method of communication in which to incentivize that particular individual to participate on behalf of the invading forces. Okay? Deep level shit. So, boom! Real life application, motherfuckers. I was, oh shit, I could do it. I can't believe I never thought about this. So, I was working here, Sherman Way and Woodley. Okay, so I was working here. Where's it at? First Street right here. First Street? No. Second Street. Yeah, Second Street. Here. This place right here. This place right here, owned by Israelis. All ex-Israeli military. 4. One lady with a tattoo. Very important. She had a tattoo. That's very significant in Jewish culture. And a female. And 3 guys. All former IDF. Okay? All former IDF. Okay? All their cars were leased. They didn't purchase anything. This was a telemarketing place that was about these were Armenian. These were Israelis. I hope I didn't say that wrong. They looked the same to me. Because they talk like this. One was really scary looking. You know that little skinny evil guy in cartoons that is like, yes, master. Like in the Mulan, the guy with the arrow, there was one just like that motherfucker that was like, whoa. David, his name was David. He was like, but the other ones were bigger than him. And he was about to say this as a lady. So anyways, I'm working here, okay? And because you have to understand, these are Israelis. They come here. I can't even explain to you the level of corruption. They fired me. I mean, they promoted me first. I was there for a year. Okay, so then next over to and that was my second job there in the day. I had 2 jobs. Was over here. Where is the orange line? Oh, the orange line's right here. Okay. So that's there. Over to Reseda. Oh, to Reseda. I gotta go to Reseda. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm Reseda's next. So at that other place, I was made a training manager. So I got to walk around and help people on their phone calls and everything. And I gave speeches and gave little train, like they were super hyped up, psychopathic fucking sales pitch type shit. But that was here. That was in this area right here. I don't think it's really critical, but it's in this building structure, like something like right here. Somewhere right around here. Okay. So I would ride my bike after that place and come over here and work here because they're big on keeping hours down. It's just, I'm telling you, if Americans, and this was owned by a different Israeli ex-military, and the lady that was the manager, the office manager of this, because this was smaller, was a Jamaican lady who I knew, who had previously worked with me at the other place, and I was the only motherfucking guy to work at 2 rooms because they generally try to avoid that kind of shit. Because what I ended up finding out, what she told me is, yeah, I got to set up their lunch because they get together. There's about 30 of them, all ex-Israeli, all ex-IDF Israelis throughout the state, who they use their military contacts to steal contact information to create their telemarketing list. And then what they do is they contact American contractors. They get them to partner with them. And then the receptionist at the other place was telling me one time when I was talking to her, I was like, because she was really hot and I was trying to hit on her. And then somebody called up and she's like, oh, that's just a contractor. I was like, oh, looking for work? She's like, no. She's like, you know, she explained to me that they burn contractors' license. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, they set jobs that are faulty. They give them to contractors. And when they don't supply the adequate material or the appropriate material and the contractors are forced to use it, and the homeowners, and it goes south, the Israelis keep the money and drop the litigation and the liabilities onto the Americans. And that's the system that all of these Israelis were using. So it's not organized crime. Again, just like Dave Chappelle said, you know, when it's blacks, it's a gangs. When it's Mexicans, it's cartels. When it's Italian, he didn't say that one. I threw that in there. When it's Italians, it's the mafia. When it's Jews, it's a coincidence. Okay, so where am I going with Jade Helm? Well, seriously, because I'm following this shit. In both offices at that time, 2 ex-military consultants were brought in. Now, this office here was small. There's only like 8 people. So that guy stood out like a fucking sore thumb because he wasn't on the phone. He was a Hispanic. No, he was a black guy. He was a black guy because the reason this office shut down was because another part of their system is they didn't like hiring non-American Jews or Israelis, American Israelis, both. That's what I mean. There's a difference there because especially language. So they didn't like hiring outside of those graphics for the salespeople because the salespeople got $2,500 or more on commission per sale. The telemarketers got minimum wage at part-time. So, like, even though the top salesperson in this office was a black guy, when it came time to hire new salesperson, the guy, Avi, I believe was his name, brought in 5 Israelis and 1 American Jew. And then he ended up hiring 2 of them that were both Israeli and could barely speak. They talk, you want to get solar? This is how they talk. And that was in high level say, I'm sorry, but anyways, maybe in their world that works, but that's why that office closed. But in the meantime, the guy was there. So, and we take our breaks, and I was really good. So whenever I'm telemarketing, I'm also scanning. Most of the time what I do is this. Actually, what I'm doing right here is I would go on Google Earth and I would just travel the world and look at shit while I'm doing telemarketing. Because I just, you just have little windows. Click, 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 hello. Blah, blah, blah. Most 99.9% of the time, it's just about, you're only doing like 5 seconds of a talk anyways. So but then but the catch is at the other place. Let's get back to here. So what the heck? Oh, my bad. So at the other place, heart. Yeah, here it goes. So at this place, yes, that's it right there. Oh, and I won the Halloween costume here, $75. I won as a caveman. And they don't let any employees other than the Israelis park inside the driveway. And they have office people too. They fired me because they have the women's bathroom. They bought the cheapest toilets possible, and so you got like 25 people working. Like half of them, sometimes a little bit more than half of them are females and doing telemarketing. And then during the lunch break, you're only doing part time, so you get 2 10-minute breaks and no lunch. During those 10-minute breaks, everybody's got it because they try to reduce the bathrooms, make everybody use a bathroom. There was a Swedish girl that was pregnant. There was a Arabic girl there too. I think she was Palestinian, to be honest with you, but she was really quiet. Just effective. So they made me the manager again. They made me the fucking manager. So once, because I was a manager, I got to talk with the Hispanic guy that was here, and he told me a little. He didn't really. I mean, he just told me he had a military background. He said that he was he was thinking about opening up a room in another location, and that didn't sound right to me, anyways. Because I was like, I'm not going to take him at his face value, but in the back of my head, I'm saying like, you're going to tell me these Jews are going to fucking help a Mexican? I was like, whatever. But uh, the pregnant girl came to me and said the toilets were clogged because they use the cheapest toilets. So when you press the button, the thing, that if you didn't hold the thing down for at least 20 seconds, it didn't flush. So the women's bathroom would always get clogged. So to remedy that, what the staff did is the management did, the Israelis did, is they put a deadlock bolt on one of the stalls. So just their administrative staff could use, and the non-administrative staff, which were the telemarketers, would be forced to use. And another interesting thing is every time a Jewish kid came, because again, I was a training manager for like 9 months, every time any Jewish person came, I fired them as soon as the processing of their name came in. I didn't fire them. They gave me their a check and told them to let them go. And the younger kids, of the Jewish kids, it was funny because they took it as a sign of rejection. I bet you it wasn't later that they probably explained to them that they didn't want to subject them to the working conditions and the exploitation that they were exploiting, subjecting the Gentiles to. And it was a favor that they were doing for them. I'm telling you, within that, before they got absorbed into the system, all they got to do was listen to some of my talking. And by the time we sat down on the computers, they were calling me in anytime there was a Jewish kid, which was about 8 times that happened. And I was giving them a check for the day. And they were like, wait, I didn't even do anything, because they never even got to make phone calls. Very interesting. Okay, so my whole point is that I feel like I've had experience with military personnel that were covering up for a military exercise, in the very least, that I don't even think was nefarious, or in the sense that I don't think that it was just a practice run. They weren't trying to spy on telemarketers. They just wanted to see what it was like to get that type of person and that type of environment so that they could work out some kinks. Somebody like me being a kink. But I'm a rarity, so they don't really have to consider me in their equation. So that's back to his buddies are diminishing the anti-gravity on his behalf. But they're pumping up the war crime, which is literally nothing compared to, like, I don't even see the fact that you guys consider it the Vietnam War goes to show you the difference between you and me. It's not a Vietnam War, because the Vietnam were not at war. It was the South East, and the Laotians and the Cambodians weren't at war either. It was the Southeast Asian genocide. European genocide of a primarily, not exclusively, but definitely Southeast Asian, but of a large Buddhist population, in order to replace them with what they did, essentially the way they did with paganism in Europe, they want to do with Buddhism in Asia, because Buddhism is conducive to economic structures like communism, as Vietnam has shown, and they're very anti-fascist. Buddhism well, not completely. Buddhism has a higher Buddhism has a lower tolerance for fascism and a higher immunity. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Mormonism, and Scientology, they have a higher threshold for fascism and a lower immunity. So that's what that is. So we go to talk about war crime. That's in Iraq. We're talking why George Bush is still alive. He should be dead. He should be shooting George Bush. George Bush Jr. and Dick Cheney should be shot dead in the fucking street by any opportunist, by the law, by the freaking people that serve us, that made an oath to us. Who are they serving? Did they make an oath to Dick Cheney and George Bush, or did they make an oath to the American people? Oh, they made an oath to the Constitution, and that makes the distinction, because what you guys don't get is the legal language in the Constitution is we, the people of the United States, designates two entities. It's designating the parties of the contract, the people and the United States. So go figure, bitch, which side are you on? Because they know what side they're on, and it ain't your side. So do the math, motherfuckers. All right, so here's my quote. The problem of obedience, therefore, is not wholly psychological. The form and shape of society and the way it is developing have much to do with it. There was a time, perhaps, when men were able to give a fully human response to any situation because they were fully absorbed in it as human beings. But as soon as things change, beyond a certain point, the breaking up of society into people carrying out narrow and very special jobs takes away from the human quality of work and life. A person does not get to see the whole situation, but only a small part of it, and is thus unable to act without some kind of overall direction. He yields to authority, but in doing so is alienated from his own actions.
In every human development, in every discovery, all the effects come before the cause or the discovery itself. So when the discovery is finally made, everybody says, well, anybody could have seen that. The time was ripe. So about the time somebody discovers a telephone, there are 1,000 people who invent the telephone. And then the law courts are filled with suits for generations. Darwin and Wallace discovered evolution at the same time, without any personal acquaintance. But at the present time, one of the effects that is heaped up a mile high, for which no cause has yet appeared, but a cause will shortly appear, one of the effects is anti-gravity. At the present time, we have an enormous amount of anti-gravitational effect and activity, helicopters, airplanes, astronauts, many things, but we don't have the cause, we just have the effects. Within our lifetimes, or your lifetimes, the cause of anti-gravity, a simple gimmick, will present itself, and all things will levitate instantly. The problem will be how to hold things down on the ground.
Now that's funny until you understand that that's what if that goes exactly with the guy's manifesto, is that in a sense, well, the ability for us to soar, I mean, I know they see everything as, well, I don't really care. Well, I get one thing too, is you have to, that's why my role in destroying monotheism is so significant for you guys. Because with this boundless capacity to move effortlessly over vast distances now, that's already here apparently, but is being withheld for security purposes, ostensibly. If you can't have a bunch of fucking Christians and Jews and Muslims and fucking even Hindus anymore, because Hindus been so fucking corrupted that well, to put it like this, the Buddha rejected Hinduism. So, I mean, I like Hinduism. It's got some rich depth and everything, but apparently, even though the message that it contains within the images that it presents provides such a comprehensive understanding of the entirety of what we consider the phenomena existence. It has proven over its lifetime, and especially now, with its inability to remedy the influences of Anglican Christianity and Islam. It doesn't have the ability to take the individual psyche beyond that. It only creates a yoke or a shell in one sense that is so vast that it puts it inside of it. It creates the ultimate womb experience. But birth, the whole point of being quote unquote born again, rebirth, is not to enter another womb. So I would say that's why Buddhism, so get rid of fucking Hinduism too, in a sense. You don't got to get rid of anything, come think of it, because all of the information still has a relevance in one sense or another. But you can't have these fucking type of people running around with those type of fucking disgusting ideas, impulses, and lack of self-awareness, because then you're going to have a pirate society of chaos and misery. I mean, I guess you can have it because it has been like that before, so there's no stopping it from being like that. That's where you get the what do they call it, dystopian, futuristic type things that everybody sees it like that, or you get a utopian one. I mean, I don't know, whatever. So, but for just I want to do a little fun here too on a response to that. And here we go.
Where's that music coming from? What is the meaning of this?
Here's the deal. I'm not here to judge. I'm just a guy from another planet. But this girl is one of your poor people, and I guess you guys felt like it was okay to subject her to inhuman conditions because there was no chance of it ever hurting you. It's sort of the socio-political equivalent of, say, a suit of power armor around you. But now things are even out, so... Arthuricia?
I'll be fast, cocksuckers! Sell my car!
Jeez.
You want to get in on this, Rick?
No, I really... Honestly, I've had my fill. It's gratuitous at this point.
Sure you don't want to join in? This is really amazing!
Yeah, but... alright, fuck it.
Where's that music coming from? What is the meaning of this?
Okay. So now, barely making it to the next one.
Without
And now to this one. I could just leave out that one. Anyways, this is the other one. These people were killed. If you notice what they are, my whole point, just a quick summary. This is punishment for not being part of Cartel Jalisco New Generation's monopoly in SoCal. Cartel Jalisco New Generation has franchised all illegal weed operations to the Armenian organized crime that is the entire municipality of Glendale, California. 100% the key. The MAGA LAPD ignore to help this network thrive in LA and disrupt legal, generally Democrat-owned weed shops and growers is the property owners of the structures the illegal weed shops operate within. And LAPD doesn't do sting operations to document employees, management, or even owners. They send, as far as to the illegal weed shops, they send one car, 2 uniformed. They knock, ask to see the back. The employees walk from behind the counters like they're customers, essentially. The security leads the cops to the power. They turn it off. The cops leave. Sometimes they issue a $2,000 ticket, which most shops make before lunch every day. And then the shop will open up the next day for sure, or sometimes within. I was in a shop when this happened one time, And I lived around the corner from it. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And I tripped out. I was like, why is the employees coming out? I was like, are you going to help me? Because I was next. And all of a sudden the cops came in the back. And I was like, what's going on around here? And I saw this whole thing happen. And I left. I never went back to that shop again. Because I understood. But I didn't know who it was at that time. Anyways. Then the Armenians turn around and are hardcore right-wing anti-immigration, racist, sexist, sorry, my bad, anti-Muslim, anti-LGBT, anti-unions, and democracy even, anti-democracy. So the money a mostly Democrat industry would generate or get is diverted into fascist right-wing, obsessed Christian men's circle. Oh, jerk. Oh, man, I got to edit this, man. You guys might as well sit here and through it. I was going to let it go, but that left my circle jerk of corruption. What was the other one? Thrive, Network, Knox, Sting, Document, Employees, MAGA, Legal, Thrive, Disrupt. They knock, ask to see the back. The employees walk from behind the customers like their customers. The security leads the cops to the power. They turn it off. The cops leave. Sometimes they issue a ticket. The Armenians turn around and are hardcore right-wing anti-immigration. Oh, sexist. Yeah. Okay, and then I say, finish off here. Then the Armenians turn around the right-wing anti-democracy. Okay, and money gets diverted into fascist right-wing obsessed Christian men's circle jerk of corruption. Ask AI if you do not have the organic intelligence to get it yet. ChatGPT. Yes, there have been historical connections and collaborations between Armenian organized crime groups and Russian organized crime, particularly due to shared geographic regions and criminal interests. These connections often involve activities such as money laundering, arms trafficking, drug distribution, and other illicit enterprises. Armenian organized crime groups have been known to have ties with various criminal networks, including Russian, Georgian, and others. However, it is important to note that the dynamics of organized crime are complex and can evolve over time, with alliances and rivalries shifting as circumstances change. Law enforcement agents, whatever. The activities of Armenian organized crime groups, often referred to as the Armenian Mafia, have been reported in various cities across the United States. There isn't a specific city where the entire Armenian organized crime network is based. These groups may have a presence in multiple cities with significant Armenian communities such as Los Angeles, New York City, and Glendale, California, among others. And with that,